Hi, I'm Katie Pattison, and you're watching Bearcat Abroad. Here's a story of a Midwestern girl who got the opportunity to travel 4,806 miles to Barcelona, Spain, just so she could hang out with her best friend for 2 weeks. So last week I gave you a broad bike tour of the Montjuic Hill and gave you some awesome footage from attractions that we went and stopped at. You know you thought it was awesome, don't even lie. This week I take you to the other side of the city center and I narrow it down even more. I take you to where my friend Lily lives, which is called Cruzara, and it's just a neighborhood within Barcelona. She discusses some interesting facts about it and like why each neighborhood has its very own like festival, which was kind of weird, kind of awesome all at the same time. Let's take a look.
Started out very, very small, and there was just all of these little neighborhoods or villages, and as Barcelona grew, they all just kind of like grew together. So now they call them the barrios, the neighborhoods. And so this neighborhood is Gracia, which is a more like family friendly, it's more of like a relatable place of living. Like everybody likes to come here because it's more like family oriented, and there's just a lot of houses here, and it's not a lot of big business. But as we go further into Barcelona, you'll see it's like there's bigger buildings in other places. It's much newer. This part is a very old part of town, but there's a lot of like little plazas and little places, and we have a lot of festivals. And each neighborhood has their own like festivals and themes. And each neighborhood has their own dragon. So the dragon of Barcelona is like this big, fat dragon that like takes 2 people to carry, and they use it for like folks, or it's like their symbol of the neighborhood.
Wait, why dragons?
I'm not sure.
So we tried to figure out what the whole dragon thing was, looked on the internet, couldn't find anything. We even called Juan, who's a Catalan, has lived there his whole life. He doesn't know. So Lily and I just said, forget it, let's just keep walking. And she was telling me about how each building is slightly colored differently based on like the neighborhood that they're in. Had no idea that's what that meant, just thought Spain was a very colorful country. We started walking around these narrow like streets, which was so cool. And we came across this like plaza that had this flea market going on, and I just thought it was kind of out of place. I don't know if it was the old buildings or the Gothic church that was next to it, but it was really cool. Let's check it out. I'm so happy we randomly came across this plaza because one, that Gothic church and those old buildings just make the rubbish you normally find at most flea markets so much more authentic. Because let's be real, most vendors just pour all of their stuff onto a cloth in front of them, and then you have to search for those really hidden gems. However, you do come across those, and for me, that's classic rock records and vintage cameras. And of course, this guy had a really nice selection, and I just had to walk away before I bought something. But let's be honest, it was a really small market, and I'm a production kid, and it was just bound to happen. Also, I hate getting typical souvenirs for myself, and being an odd person, I need an odd souvenir, i.e. a vintage Kodak camera. So after buying this sweet vintage camo, which I found out actually still works, which is a total bonus, Lily and I proceeded to go to the coast where we were gonna get some food. She took me to this huge food market, which is like a mile long, and it has vendors and bars. It even has a culinary school, which tourists can go and learn lessons on how to cook a popular Catalan dish, which I didn't have the time for, and Juan was just gonna make us food anyways. But it was like the best place to people watch. The first mention of La Boqueria dates back to as early as 1217. It was first known as a traveling market, but in the early 1700s it became stationary next to La Rumba for its large numbers of local inhabitants. Today it is still a place that congregates all of the phases in the food chain, from the producers, harvesters, and butchers, who provide the food to individuals and professional clients who wander through the magnificent characteristic maze of all the vendors. Well, that's all the time I have this week. Make sure to tune in next week where either I take you to a church that is still under construction and it started in the late 1800s and it's not even close to being done yet, or I take you to a really colorful park that overlooks Barcelona. You'll just have to see which one I pick. Now go watch Freshman Year where you can 1, watch me again, and 2, it's produced by Moose and he's awesome. I'll see you next time.